Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Sorry I didn't see you there. Welcome back for another episode of Turbo Tuesdays, where I, Monty LSV6, talk about everything and anything related to turbos. So if you're a newcomer, that's what these series of videos are about, and I welcome you to hit that subscribe button down below. Of course, there'll be plenty more videos like this and others coming out. Now, if you have a car and you're building it, or you're kind of looking for more power but not really sure where to go, out of the three choices, either for boosted applications, we either have supercharger, we have centrifugal supercharger, which was like a belt-driven one, like a Procharger for instance, and we have turbos. Now, turbos is a different ball game than the other two. One, because they're free power, and what I mean by free power is, so when you have a supercharger or a centrifugal one like a Procharger, I'm just going to use a Procharger for example from here on out. You have a belt-driven system that compresses the air before it goes into the engine. Now, since you're using a belt, your serpentine belt, to compress that air that's going into the engine, you're going to be using up some horsepower to get more horsepower. Now, that can be like 5 horsepower, if that. I'm not really sure. There's not really any data out there that I know of that I haven't really researched. Anyways, so it's going to use up some horsepower to compress that air into power. Now, when you go turbo, it's essentially free power because you're not really taking anything away from the engine. So think about it. So you have the turbo, right? And so this is your turbine, which is the exhaust gas go through. It spins the turbine, it has a shaft, and it's got a compressor wheel on the other side, and then it spins both, and that's where your power comes from. So, seeing how it's already using the exhaust gases that's coming from the engine anyways, after the combustion phase, that is what is making your power. Now, I mean, you're not really losing any horsepower making power, so you're just gaining power. I mean, you're kind of not really settling for indifference. And that's kind of where most people lean towards a turbocharger. Granted, the superchargers and prochargers make awesome sounds. I think in some applications you'll get more of a benefit from turbos than you would in the other two choices. So there's that, there's free power, you have there's a wide range of power that you can make from a turbo. So let's say you go aftermarket turbo, a big turbo, I don't know, like a 40 trim or something, like a Supra, for instance. If now these are just numbers I'm just pulling out of my head, and they probably won't make any sense, but let's say you have a big turbo and you slap it onto a Toyota Supra, right? Let's say 25 psi, you're making 400 wheel horsepower, okay? With that 25 psi, if you bump it up to 30 psi, you're probably making 475 wheel horsepower. And if you bump it up to 35 psi on that turbo, you might make 530 to the wheels. Now, these are just numbers I'm blowing smoke, just kind of using that example. So the more you raise the PSI, the more boost that's going to be put into the engine. Now, you have to watch though, because one of the cons is that if you oversize the turbo for your engine to where the engine cannot digest the extra air that the turbo is putting out, you're going to get something that's called compressor surge. Now, the compressor surge and what's the other one? Turbo flutter. That's a kind of another video in itself because they're two separate meanings, but they come from different issues or problems or sources, and it's very important to get those two things not mixed up, because someone will say, "Oh, that's turbo flutter," which is okay, but then they're thinking that it's compressor surge. And compressor surge is a bad thing, and when they think it's turbo flutter and then it's a good thing, they're just gonna let it go on without fixing the problem. But that, like I was saying, that's another video. If you guys want more on those two meanings, those two words and their meanings, please let me know down below. I'll be more than happy to make a video on that too. So I think a lot of people would like to know the difference between compressor surge and turbo flutter. So please let me know down below if you guys want me to make that video, or just give me a like. If I reach a certain amount of likes, I'll go and make that video for you guys. So if you get an oversized turbo, you get compressor surge, which is a bad thing. You got to fix that. Either reduce the turbo or do something else. The other really con is for the turbocharger is that there could be some things that could be, I don't know if this would really be a con, but there's like so many different options for turbos that you need. You need to understand like how much power you want to make, the different times, twin scroll, single scroll turbocharger. Do you want ball bearing turbo? Do you want one with an anti-surge housing? So there it can get kind of complicated to where, you know, if you're not really sure and you don't really want to deal with that and you'd rather just slap on a supercharger or a procharger, go right ahead. You know, that's fine, but I'm just kind of giving you the benefit of the doubt and kind of explaining the turbo. So that's pretty much it, really. Love talking about turbo. So, you know, I might actually make the video inside about what the difference between turbo flutter and compressor surge. So that'll be another video in itself. So stay tuned, and you guys will see that. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, turbos are free power. I would highly encourage you guys to look for them or look into them if you're looking to upgrade from an NA motor into a boosted platform, or if you just kind of want to switch things up a bit and go from a supercharger, procharger, jump around. So other than that, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button down below. I would really appreciate it. And please drop some comments down below if you have any questions. I will be more than happy to answer them in the next Turbo Tuesday video. And if you guys want to ask me questions, either drop them down below in the comment, follow me on Twitter, and ask me questions that way. And now the merchandise is out, so Monty merch is what I call it. I have that on my website. If you go to my website, go to the shop section. There you'll be redirected to my merchandise store, to where you can help support me in the channel. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and see you next time. Monty LSV6 out.